how do you address the main problem you're facing besides funding? It's always the main problem, but this main problem is Shakespeare's fright. Okay, Shakespeare seems frightening. It just seems too complicated. It seems archaic. I can't understand it. Why should I go across the street to see this exhibit of somebody who, just seems boring and seems frightening and seems, of another era?
I think we have to break a sweat and go to people themselves. I don't think you can stand in a beautiful white marble building that looks sometimes like a bank, sometimes like a temple, and say, if you're lucky, you could come in here. We would like to have those questions in the humanities classrooms of high schools and junior highs, so that if I'm reading Toni Morrison and thinking about the ghost story that is Beloved, I should also think a little bit, I could, about Hamlet, which is a ghost story too, and about the terrible power of memory. And I think that it's Shakespeare and. The ampersand is the flag to fly, because when you add the experiences and the conflicts that we are living with right now, Shakespeare is a wonderful way in when you start to talk about characters, words, and plights. And so, I don't think it's the answer to everybody's problems. There are times when you shouldn't read Shakespeare and don't need to, right? But there is a resource that Americans have been going to, whether it was Civil War, civil rights. Those are power words. You already know them, right? The rest is silence. All those phrases, you already know them. So let's start there.
Go on, Jerry.
I mean, and I love that, these are plays, and they're meant to be seen, But what's so beautiful about this is curating this work is it's so vital, because without them, we wouldn't have this. I mean, and to know that these plays the folio was created, Hemmings and Condell, from actors. Actors recognized the value of this work of Shakespeare that said, we have to have a concerted effort to try to contain these into one volume. So to know that they exist is pivotal. I mean, it is a massive, massive thing, and a really, really vital thing for us.
So Brian, how do you solve the Shakespeare fright?
No, but that's what I'm getting. I mean, I'm getting to that point about the idea that it's like the play part about it. It's more than just reading them. Reading them is important and it is vital, and I love analyzing them. But I also think you need to recite them. You need to say them. You need to speak them. You need to hear them, because that's, I think, where you get into what is so beautiful about the poetry and the language. The iambic pentameter. It's the heartbeat of our own natural speech. They become less frightening by embarking on speaking them, getting them out there. They're like anything. Yes, they're daunting at sometimes, and sometimes people are afraid of poetry, but when you read it and you pore over it and you read it again and you have helpful tools to sort of examine that, it becomes easier. And at the heart of it is just, like you said, these great stories. They're great stories about people.